Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're jumping into a really interesting essay called, in the original, Giving is the Life of a Smart Person. Its core idea is pretty simple, but it's also really profound, that true wisdom isn't about what you can get from the world, but what you can give to it. So what's cool is the author doesn't just launch into some big abstract theory. Nope, he keeps it super grounded with a personal story that, of all things, starts with a boat. So picture this. He's got a guest staying for an extended time, and he does something really generous. He's like, hey, see my boat? Take it out whenever you want. And get this, he even filled it up with gas first. It was a pure act of giving, no expectations, no strings attached whatsoever. And so what happens? Well, when the guest finally leaves, they show up with a brand new gas grill for the author. It's this beautiful moment. One act of generosity is met with another, and the author talks about this incredible feeling of joy, trust, and real human warmth that came from it. And that little story, it's more than just a nice anecdote. It's really the heart of the whole essay. It's all about this idea of a virtuous cycle. So he takes that personal story and zooms out to this big universal truth about people. And think about it for a second. It's so true. You really do remember two kinds of people, right? The ones who've been generous to you, and you absolutely remember the ones who've taken from you. But here's the key difference, and it's everything. The givers, you actually want to see them again. You look for reasons to be around them. The takers, though? Oof, you kind of start to avoid them, right? You create this space. And just like that, our entire social world gets shaped by this one little distinction. And this really brings us to a fundamental choice we're all making, probably without even thinking about it. Are we going to be a giver, or are we going to be a taker? So the author just puts it right out there, a direct question for you. And yeah, the answer seems obvious, doesn't it? Of course we'd rather be with the giver. But that's the trick. He wants us to stop and think, wait a minute, which one am I in other people's stories? And this is where it gets super interesting. He's not just saying giving is nice or the right thing to do. He's framing it as a straight-up strategy for a better life. The path of the giver, he says, leads to a social world filled with trust and dignity. But the path of the taker? Well, that's a lonely road. Okay, so building on that idea, he lays out this really powerful thought experiment. He basically says, all right, you've got two life scripts to choose from. Which one is it going to be? And wow, this really flips things on their head. Script one, right? The one where you just get served all the time, never have to give anything. It sounds pretty good at first, but the author argues that it leads to a life of total helplessness. You become like a beggar, totally dependent. And then there's script two, a life where you're always giving, never expecting anything back. And paradoxically, that's the one that leads to a life full of health and energy. It's like the very act of serving others is what powers you up. So right here, the essay takes a personal turn. The author basically says, look, I'm not just talking theory here, and he uses his own life as the prime example of this philosophy in action. And he's crystal clear about it. This isn't just some nice thought for him. He says it's his life's motto. But he's also careful to say, hey, this isn't about me being some great moral person. For him, it's just a discovery. He genuinely believes he's found the smartest, most fulfilling way to live. Now, as you can imagine, living this way out in the open has brought on some pretty serious criticism, and he tackles it head on. People accuse him of running a money scam. His response? I'm the biggest donor here. I'm using my own business savings to build this community. Then there's the sex scam accusation. And he's like, look, my philosophy is totally public. There are no secret promises, no one's trapped, there's zero deception. In his mind, the transparent way he lives is his own best defense. So after defending his personal life, he zooms way, way out one last time. He takes this from a personal philosophy to something that feels, well, almost cosmic. He actually calls it the law of universal energy balance. The basic idea is that the universe is always trying to stay in balance, kind of like karma. Every time you give, serve, or dedicate, you're building up this positive energy for yourself. But every time you take or cheat or act selfishly, you're basically chipping away at your own foundation. You're creating negative energy that ultimately destroys you. And this all boils down to the huge central paradox of the whole essay, which is captured perfectly in this quote. It says that true self-fulfillment isn't found by being selfish. It's the exact opposite. The only way to truly find yourself, to build your best self, is through selflessness. It's a total mind bender. The more you give away, the more you actually get. Okay, so if that's the big universal law, how do you actually live it? Well, the author makes it really simple. He boils it all down to 3 rules for walking what he calls the path of the smart person. Number 1, give and don't regret it. Number 2, give without expecting anything back. And number 3, and this one might be the most important, give with a joyful heart. And that's where he leaves us, with one final powerful challenge. His advice is basically to just focus on the giving part and trust that the universe, what he calls the Tao, will sort out the rest. And so the question he leaves hanging in the air is for you and for me. Are you willing to try?